Illegal immigration to Spain has increased 82% in the last 3 years. The country is collapsing. Many Spanish are saying enough is enough. We want our country back. Protests over the past month, protesters taking to the streets all across the country, from Barcelona to name another, to Seville, to Madrid, all asking for the mainstream media to actually cover what's really happening there. But the mainstream media is ignoring this story. And Spanish, it's amazing to see Spanish people going to social media. They're saying, why won't like CNN, why won't the New York Times, why won't people cover our story? We want our country back. That's because it doesn't fit their narrative, Spanish person. Liberal media wants illegal immigration, and they hate Christianity. So they're thrilled that your country is being invaded. So we'll do the work for the mainstream media because they are losers. Spanish are saying we are Christian. We are a Christian country. We are not a Muslim country. Spanish patriots taking to the streets, declaring Spain as a Christian country, holding banners for reimmigration and chanting Spain is Christian, not Muslim. Spaniards want mass deportations. And then, of course, in the past week, Spanish social media accounts celebrating the cross that has been remounted now on top of Mount Neto. It's been restored. And so many social media accounts in Spain were blowing up, saying it's about time. Father Robinson is joining us now to talk about this, the changes coming to Spain. Is it too little, too late? Father, great to see you. You saw what happened in Portugal in the past few weeks. The parliament there voting, saying enough is enough. The Chega party has a lot of sway in that country now, saying we're closing our borders down. We've given up a lot of our resources to people from outside of this country, illegal immigration. The same thing now in Spain, but you're having this clash between Muslims and Christians, and Spain saying we want our country back. What do you see happening here?
It's the same thing we see across the whole of Western Europe right now, whether it's Spain, Portugal, France, or my homeland, Great Britain. There's been mass migration for such a long time, but not just illegal immigration, also mass legal migration, because the liberal establishment for so long has been pushing this border-free, globalist, one world Europe entity for such a long time that people have not remembered that they are sovereign. Countries are sovereign, and they have the right to defend their borders, the right to defend themselves and protect their nationhood. That's a good thing. But the establishment, and when I say the establishment, I mean the government, the mainstream media, the NGOs, the non-government organizations, the lobby groups, all of the elite, the metropolitan elite, have been conspiring against ordinary people. And you can only do that for so long until ordinary people start to push back. We're seeing that in Portugal. We're seeing that in Poland. We're seeing that now in Spain. Just last week, there were hundreds, if not thousands, of people out on the streets in Spain wearing Knights Templar uniforms, for goodness sake. And this is a reminder. Yeah, they were dressed fully as knights, walking the streets, just saying we are a Christian country, because it was 722 AD that the Reconquista started, right? Because Spain was conquered by Mohammedans before. It took them 800 years to win their country back. They don't want to have to go through that again.
Now, what do you think that they're asking for specifically when they ask to be a Christian country, a country with laws, a country with morality? I mean, this is a very large umbrella, but what do you think is the populist call?
That's such a good question, because people often misinterpret these signs and these words. When I, for example, would call myself a Christian nationalist, and there's certain people that say, what, you want to oppress everybody and make everyone a Christian? Like, no, I am a Christian. I believe Christianity is the truth. I believe it's beautiful. I believe it's good. And therefore, I want my government to govern with a Christian moral compass. And the Christian morality teaches many things, such as the Ten Commandments, but also that we have free will. So we don't subjugate people. We don't force people to become Christians, but we recognize that it is the truth, and we encourage them because we want them to go to heaven and we love them. But a Christian nation just means that as a nation where you can celebrate God freely, you can choose to worship him, whether it's as a Protestant or a Roman Catholic or somewhere in between, doesn't matter. But if you choose not to worship God, that's also part of your choice. So Christian nationalism means that electing representatives who are Christians, who recognize the difference between good and evil as stated in the Bible, and legislate based on that morality. Because everyone legislates based on a morality, whether it's their own abstract ego or some other religion. And so I say Christianity, being the one true good religion, is the best religion to legislate based upon.
But the Christian Bible calls for law and order. People in the Christian Bible are punished when you do bad things. to other people. So do you think that they're also asking for a just justice system where law-abiding people actually are protected from those who don't?
Well, yeah, like the people that got stabbed and nothing happened to them. They literally, these illegal immigrants stabbed an elderly couple, and what happens? The people had to take the streets and demand justice for themselves. Like the police didn't do anything.
Justice is so important. You're absolutely right that if we don't get it from the system, we become vigilantes and we take it into our own hands because we recognize in our hearts that we need justice. And so we want to see it. And if we don't see it done, we enact it ourselves. Britain's a great example of this. We have a two-tier system. In fact, there are more Sharia courts in the United Kingdom than there are in the rest of Europe combined. Worse than that, they're leaking out of Europe and spreading around from Great Britain to the rest of Europe. And in fact, there are many organizations in Britain that are proscribed as extremists by places like Qatar and Saudi. They won't have these Mohammedans in their countries, but they're in the United Kingdom and they're headquartered there, setting up their own legal system. And our government says, great, you can moderate yourselves. What most people in Britain want is equality under the law, not Sharia law for them and a different law for us. Just today I reported on Isabel Vaughan Spruce being arrested once again for silently praying in her own head within the bounds of an abortion centre. Apparently it's a thought crime now to do that in Britain. Yet you'll see Mohammedans with their bombs in the air on their rugs in the middle of the road. No one dares say a word to them. So it's one rule for me, another for thee. And that is hypocrisy. And the Bible teaches strongly against hypocrisy.
Who's pushing back on this? Where is the pushback? What sort of dark forces are pushing back against sort of law and order throughout?
I would call them the metropolitan liberal elite. We're talking the people who congregate at Davos for the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab and the likes, Bill Gates and co. People who are unelected, yet hold more power and influence than our officials. It's a great shame to see this so-called democratic West that we live in not being very democratic. But then democracy has become an idol of late anyway. We used to believe in a divine right of kings because we expected our kings to govern based on the rule of God. Again, Christian morality, Christian nationalism, recognizing that there's someone or something greater than themselves that would hold them accountable ultimately for their actions. We don't have any of that anymore. We have a whole host of elite who think they are gods and want to govern so that they can increase their vested interests, essentially. And their vested interests never align with ours, unfortunately. And so when they're chasing GDP as a measure of whether a country is successful or not, basically how much money they get into their bank accounts through lobbyists and whatnot, what they're looking at is numbers. They're not looking at people. And nations are built on people. We conflate country and nation quite a lot these days, but a country tends to be geographic. A nation is a group of people. My people, the British people, have been on the land for centuries, if not millennia, and we don't want to be invaded. We don't want to be replaced. We don't want mass migration, whether legal or illegal. And it's great to see places like Spain and Portugal starting to fight back. I hope to see the same happen back at home too. But this large Christian cross, I think it's Mount Aneto, that was just recently renovated and replaced, is a wonderful sign of that. I've been seeing this across France as well. There's a group called SOS Calvary, who are just a group of young volunteers that go around refurbishing crosses. It's actually illegal to place new crosses up in towns and villages in France, believe it or not. So what they do is they look where one was historically, and if it's no longer there, they go replace it. Or if it's crumbled and broken down, they go and rejuvenate it and renovate it. And so they've replaced almost 1,000 crosses across France right now. This is what we need to see. This is a revival. This is regenerating Christian nationalism across the West, because it's the only way we survive as a people, whether we're looking at Britain, Spain, Portugal, or Poland. It doesn't matter. Proclaiming Christ as king is the only way to survive when we're the onthwart of illegal mass immigration from mostly Mohammedan countries is looking to replace us because the elite want a fast buck.
Right. Well, thank you so much for that assessment. We really appreciate it, Father Robinson, as always.
Thanks, Father.
God bless you. And no more swearing.
Ooh, you were busted.
I'm from Philadelphia, trying.
So is the Pope. The Pope. The Pope went to school in Philadelphia. He keeps it clean.
Because the Pope can do it, I can do it. Thanks, Father.